government responding to a call of a person holding on a camera and not a villain lurking. Still they just took him down, didn't even give him time, even after being told photography is not a crime. You don't need subliminal, excessive force ain't optional. This is not a cop show where everyone's a criminal. Do your job the way it is supposed to be of service. Now you think abusing on the public is your purpose? You are just a sick joke, all corrupt and hopeless. If you aren't good for us, then why we paying taxes? If you aren't gonna do it right, better step down. Everything you seem to do is nothing but a letdown. I suggest you disappear before you're making things worse. You are not a blessing but a version of a bad curse. You're about to find out what we call destruction, ending on the wrong end of BK corruption.
So here we are. Broxtowe Police Station. I have come for my alleged voluntary interview that was not voluntary. To the police, voluntary interviews mean if you do not go for a voluntary interview as per request of the police. It gives the police the right to unlawfully enter your property, perv on your children, do criminal damage to your property and of course, lie about it all.
This is all covered in our first video P1, PC 3625 Chris Phillips and Gang. Nottinghamshire Police.
This police station is only open to the public for interviews. If you turn up unexpectedly to report crime, then you will have to use the dirty yellow phone on the side. Don't worry though. If you want someone to come out to you, all you need to do is get your phone out and start recording. It took me a whole 45 seconds to get a fat belly wanker out to threaten me with arrest if I do not leave the property immediately.
His maid come out for extra protection. I'm sure they would have been out even faster if I had some food for them.
You have to wonder, do these police officers even want you to report crime? They are only interested if you are doing lawful activity like recording. Police officers like this person need to be ashamed of themselves. I personally think he believed I caught him and his mate doing funny business in the office. Why else would this man have aroused nipples?
I'm glad it isn't just me that gets abused by the police for doing lawful activity. Nobody poor and team went down and got physically abused by two women. Nothing like sexual assault to be added to the list of things Broxtowe Police believe they can do.
If you don't know these guys already, then go and subscribe to their page. Go watch Police Corruption with Nobody Poor. Remember, every time you watch, they get paid. The more you watch, the more they get paid. The more they get paid, the more they can go out and expose police corruption. It's a no-brainer, and let's face it, a lot of their videos are really good to watch too.
Also, if you enjoy going out getting violated by women, you know where to go, Broxtowe Police Station at your service.
But if these women are not available, I'm sure this man will help you get your nipples aroused when you get there.
So anyways, let's get back to business. It's now October 6, 2017. Around 3 p.m. I waited outside for my solicitor. Solicitor turns up. Then this cock arrives and he starts chatting up my solicitor. He had no reason to talk to her apart from he wanted to get in her pants. He wasn't assigned to this case and had no reason to get involved. I asked him if he enjoyed attempting to break into my house. He said he wasn't even there. Then he left.
Me and my solicitor had a laugh about him after. She said he had no chance, but again, she was still giving him the unnecessary attention after all.
We went in. PC 3625 Chris Phillips took my solicitor for a chat into the room slightly on your left. I sat on the chair on the left. They had a chat for 5 minutes. I could hear everything they was saying.
Solicitor came out and told me what he said anyways. We went inside and here's the interview tape.
Okay, so the interview's been digitally recorded and it may be given evidence in the case called to the trial on PC 3625.
First, data protection breach. As you can hear on this recording, the window was open. The interview was taken at the front of this building in front of one of these windows. The front of this building is accessible to the public. This is breaching this man's personal data by not keeping it secure.
The police are therefore breaching the Data Protection Act 1998. The worst thing about this is, this man doesn't have a choice and it's actually the data controller, the police, to make sure this personal data is safe. especially when they are using their police powers to make this man discuss this information in public.
My PC 3625 Phillips, and the time by my phone, because I've got my watch on, it was 15:35 hours on Friday the 6th of October 2017. We're at Broxtowe Police Station. I'm interviewing. Appreciate that. Also present is his solicitor.
I'm Caroline King.
Thank you. You're not under arrest, it's a voluntary interview, alright. So you can leave at any time, but I do need to get you a count for what's been given today. What I would say is, because it's been some time since I've been contacting you, that if you were to get up and walk out now, I'd have no option but to arrest you to promptly and effectively investigate the matter. You understand that, mate? Alright.
So, let's get this right. It's a voluntary interview, but if he leaves, he will be arrested. I'm unsure how this is classed as voluntary. Voluntary means you have a choice in the matter. There has been no choice in this interview. The police had no lawful powers to make him come for a voluntary interview, so they did all the unlawful acts in P1, PC 3625 Chris Phillips and gang, so he had no choice but to go for this interview. That was by no means voluntary.
Chris Phillips also updated this man's personal file to state, handed himself into Broxtowe Police Station. He did not hand himself in, he was not wanted. He merely went for the not-so-voluntary interview, as this police officer has just mentioned. This is another breach of his personal data. Personal data must be accurate and up to date.
So, you can stop the interview at any time, speak to your solicitor, further consultation, should you wish to do so. Just let me know and I'll stop it and we'll start it again. Alright mate, you understand that. I'll caution you before I ask you any questions, say that you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your offence if you do not mention any question, something which you later on in court, and anything you do say may be given evidence. Okay, that in layman terms means you don't have to answer any questions, but if you don't and it goes to court and then you give an account at court, they may be less likely to believe what you're saying there, because you could have told me today. Do you understand that?
Yes.
For the purpose of our internal systems, and it is only internal, and Nottinghamshire Police, you will remain a suspect in this matter, whether the case goes to court or not, and it gets closed down or took to court. You understand that? So the purpose of this interview is, I'm investigating an offence of harassment with a bit of malicious communication.
Harassment, Protection from Harassment Act 1997 has already been spoken about in P1, PC 3625 Chris Phillips and gang, and in fact, Chris Phillips is a prime example of why this act is in place. Chris Phillips has demonstrated exactly what harassment is. He was messaging, ringing me with no reply. The police left threatening messages on my voicemail. Chris left notes through my door. When I ignored all demands, they brought 6 police officers around who committed criminal damage, aggravated trespass, talking about me to my neighbors, and then attempted to climb through the window with my bin. They were also attempting to perv on children through the letterbox and windows at 8 a.m.
Malicious Communications Act 1988. Any person who sends to another person a letter, electronic communication, or article of any description which conveys a message which is indecent or grossly offensive, a threat, or information which is false and known or believed to be false by the sender, or any which is, in whole or part, of an indecent or grossly offensive nature, is guilty of an offense if his purpose, or one of his purposes, in sending it is that it should, so far as falling within paragraph A, or B, above, cause distress or anxiety to the recipient or to any other person to whom he intends that it or its contents or nature should be communicated.
Right. Now I understand, before we get this interview going, there's a lot of history here and there's a lot going on. There's a child involved, I've got kids myself, so I do know and I sympathise with what's going on. What I am specifically looking at here is one particular message that was sent that's caused anxiety and distress, right, to the recipient, which in essence is the malicious comms element of it, and also messages that have been sent after she's told you to stop sending them. The version of this is for me to get your version of events, alright mate, okay, so first of all I'm going to ask you, what is your phone number? That's fine. I just obviously have to confirm that I'm talking to the right person.
Limited.
Limited, yeah. LTD.
I am. Yeah.
So I'll go straight to this here, and she says on the 6th of September, during a conversation which I have read, alright, where there are multiple messages between the two of you, at which point I'm not classing this as harassment, okay, at this point. There's a message that she's said that scared her, and it's actually made her cry. She gives you a mobile number. She says that you've sent a message which read, "You know what, you're such a twat, I'll end up killing you if this carries on, so I hope you're happy. I'll just live my life without the little man, or my little man. I'll wait till he's 18 and give him all home truths. Don't fucking text me back." She does reply, and then you have a continued conversation. Did you send that WhatsApp?
It seems that PC3625 Chris Phillips has just confirmed that this teacher from Broxtowe Primary School has in fact committed the crime of harassment. A man has just told a woman to stop messaging him, but she carries on. However, crimes like harassment and domestic abuse only seem to apply to men being the suspect and never the victim.
So, this is what was said to make the police harass me for around 1 month. Want to know why I sent it? Let's go for it.
What happened is, as you can see in these pictures, this is a card from your mummy to your daddy. Your mummy sent your daddy a birthday card whilst you were still in mummy's tummy. You can see that your mummy sent your daddy this birthday card with your name on it. I cannot show your full name, but your mummy and daddy agreed your name to start with N and finish with my last name.
As far as I am aware, and as far as the law is, this is an agreement that both parties, both mummy and daddy, have agreed your name for when you come out of mummy's tummy. Why else would mummy send daddy this card if she wasn't agreeing to call you this name?
I didn't ask for much from your mummy, just the name, and I wanted to be in your life to support you and be there for you for whenever you needed me.
Your mummy had other ideas. Your mummy decided because I didn't want to be with her, she would do the only 2 things she could to upset me. Change your name and keep me off the birth certificate, so I had no legal right to be there for you.
That would generally mean that I wouldn't be able to see you, I could not make any decisions over your well-being, or I couldn't be there for you unless your mummy agreed.
Your mummy knew by doing this it would really upset me. She also believes, being a teacher, that she has this right, not only to treat men like this, but she believes she has the right to stop you from having a daddy that loves you with all his heart.
So, what your mummy did was she went and got you registered under the name you are using now, and she kept me off the certificate. Your mummy therefore sent me this certificate on WhatsApp, and that's why I replied with that message.
This behavior from your mummy is deemed as domestic abuse. But currently this world only believes domestic abuse only relates to women. This is because the world is sexist twats that need a good slap. They are naughty people.
Message.
Can't remember that for word, but if you're saying that is, it is.
Just so that you've got a picture of it, that's Exhibit CP1. The whole message room stream is CP1. That's the text message.
Can you have the one before as well, please?
The one before itself
Before this here,
is
yeah.
printed off. It's not printed off, I've not brought it in.
PC3625 Chris Phillips has spent around 1 month investigating this alleged crime, but he has not brought the one message that made this man react. You have to wonder, why hasn't Chris Phillips brought the reason why I sent this text into interview with him? It would make sense to bring the message into the interview to make sense of the investigation. He clearly cannot be that stupid, but saying that, his behavior in P1, PC3625 Chris Phillips and gang is pretty bad. A lot of police officers and judges seem to try and work with what you have said rather than work out why it was said. If this was a reaction to a teacher's domestic abuse, then there is no crime from this man. But maybe, Chris Phillips already knows this and he is in fact perverting the course of justice, punishable by life in prison.
Right, well maybe that's probably what worked back to me saying that, and if I did say that,
Okay.
I obviously was upset at the time, but
Okay.
obviously for you not to put in context.
Well, the thing is, as it stands at the minute,
What has she said before that? That's the
there's a
question.
multiple conversation between the two of you where you're both going at each other. But my question to you is, why have you said I'm going to end up killing you? Like, if I'm having an argument with
Maybe I
my
was
partner,
arguing.
I don't turn around and say I'm going to end
I
up
was
killing you.
clearly
one day.
upset, and obviously
Clearly, Chris Phillips is deliberately attempting to cover the one previous message that was sent, which was an attachment from this teacher with his son's birth certificate on. with his son's incorrect name and no dad on the certificate. This is supported by Kafka's S7 report where this teacher has confirmed that she did change his child's name, but used controlling behaviors as a reason why.
If I can't see the thing before it, that must have related to me saying it. I want to come to that, would it?
I get what you're saying.
And I didn't mean it in the sense of I'm going to actually kill you. Obviously, she was obviously saying something that was really winding me up.
That's what I'm getting
which
at.
I don't know
what context did you.
What is PC 3625 Chris Phillips now on about? No threat has even been sent. A threat is something like I will kill you tomorrow or I will kill you next time I see you. This isn't a fucking threat, you bellend. This is a reaction to domestic abuse from a teacher. No threat and therefore no malicious communication. It's very simple. I can go and tell someone that I wish you would die. That's not a threat to kill.
Send that in.
Not in the manner that I'm actually going to kill
you.
you.
So you didn't mean that threat?
Of course I didn't. It's just...
For someone to take a threat seriously, then this would mean the person would stop messaging them. Not carry on. It's not a fucking threat. It says, I'll end up killing you if this carries on, and he's asked her to stop messaging him. She doesn't. Maybe she wants to die.
Do you think that would have upset her though by it being sent?
Well, she said further down it did, and she kept messaging me after that.
Yeah, okay.
And I told her to go to the police.
Yeah.
So you've got messages like that, have you? Have you also got the text messages?
He told her to go to the police because her behavior is deemed as domestic abuse.
The text messages? I don't have any text messages.
So you've just got WhatsApp messages?
I've got, all she's given me is WhatsApp messages.
She's
so,
literally just giving you what?
So I've got
what
WhatsApp
makes me look
messages.
bad?
I've got WhatsApp messages. Like I said, the solicitor's told you, I've 51 pages worth of them. I don't deem any of the others relevant to this investigation. Like I said to you, the bottom line is there's two sides to every story. I'm here to get you a cant on what's gone on, mate. Alright?
You might not deem the rest of the messages relevant, but we do. We deem the one before this message to be very relevant to this case.
So, you've told me that you've sent that you didn't mean it in the context.
I didn't mean in that context. Clear that have. But how long after was it that she reported this incident?
And I'm gonna tell you that, mate. Okay. So
can I get some messages after that, or not? Or you've not got in front?
I've got various messages here, mate. Which
what are the ones that come back to
it? September. Pardon?
Can I have the ones that come back to that?
You don't need to see those.
Right.
You don't need to see any of those messages because what I'm saying to you is.
This police officer doesn't seem to think the other messages are relevant, but what we are saying is that this police officer is in fact covering up domestic abuse done by this teacher.
I'm aware, what I'm saying to you is, and I've told this to your solicitor, I'm not holding anything back.
You're not holding anything back. You're actually holding back the one bit of evidence that shows this teacher has done domestic abuse. You are in fact perverting the course of justice.
I've seen the conversation, and you're both going at each other, but unfortunately for you, you are the one that starts making comments like that.
Yeah, which
right?
is inappropriate.
Okay, which is inappropriate.
Yes.
Alright? You know it is.
I know.
And I'm telling you that at this point, I'm not looking at harassment. Okay? If you let me finish it all, right? So the point she phones us is the 8th of September. Okay?
And what date was that sent?
This is the 6th of September.
Okay.
Right? She phones us on the 8th of September and reports it after she's spoken to her family because she's concerned about what's going on. She doesn't know what you're going to do.
She actually reported it to the police after receiving court papers from me. These court papers were sent to her because she changed my child's name, left me of the birth certificate, and left me no choice but to start family court proceedings.
She also states in a statement that in the past, which I have no evidence of, but in the past, you've made remarks about possessing a gun or a firearm, and that you have made remarks.
Gun, a firearm. Wow. I'm worried now. So, the police came to my house in P1 Chris Phillips and gang knowing I might have a gun. What was they hoping for? Hoping I might not have enough bullets to shoot all 6 of these police officers? Maybe I only had a 2-bullet shotgun.
But more importantly, this lady is a teacher with 3 children. She has a legal responsibility to report any safeguarding to the relevant teams straight away. Not if or when it suits this teacher. It's now the October 6th, 2017. There is no information on my personal file regards guns, nor is there any on my son's social services file. Last time I seen my child in person was the 2nd of September 2017. The first report this teacher made about me to anyone was on the September 8th, 2017. No reports of having a gun.
This teacher from Broxtowe Primary School is following no safeguarding and has only just started making up allegations after receiving family court papers.
You have to wonder, if she's not reporting these safeguarding issues, then how do you know your children are safe whilst they are in her care?
It's about sending people round to take her phones off her.
Not that.
Now, I've never been there,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that that's why she's saying she was scared.
I made a remark on text.
She says no, she
No,
says on the
okay.
phone or in person.
The problem I've got is, obviously, this is only materialised because I'm taking legal proceedings to try and get parental responsibilities from my son. So obviously she's,
Yeah.
from my point of view, she's just trying to do what she can to stop that.
Right.
So
To
she might-
muddy the water.
Yeah, and she might be saying to you, oh yeah, I can see my son and that, but I can't really because I do go around and she gives me an hard time. And it's clear that she wants more from me than I'm willing to give. And I've got messages, a message that says that,
Mm.
but at the same time I just want to see my son.
When was the last time that you saw her physically, face to face?
That's the second.
The 2nd of September?
Yes.
Okay. So
And
you
I told you, I've had enough because I took him around to Nottingham and all she's doing is giving me an hard time because I've got messages on my phone from other women. I said, I'm not going with you, and she gave me a hard time. She's going mad at me.
Yeah.
We agreed back in March when I tried to give her a chance to
Yeah.
see how it went. We were back in March, our child's name. She sent me a nice birthday card and blah blah blah. I told her it's not working out.
Mm.
She started just doing what she knows to annoy me, so she knew to change her name because she knew that's the only thing I wanted from myself.
Right. And am I right in thinking
Just left off the birth certificate. I am really upset. And
mate, I get what you're saying. Take a minute. I've got kids myself, and I've already said to your solicitor this is a particularly difficult incident to investigate because I have to take this seriously because things do happen. You understand that unfortunately domestic incidents spiral.
But
and
this is only spiraled because
I know.
the court papers I've sent her.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, but things do spiral into the point where you see it on the news, and it's not just a fairy tale. It happens, mate. Trust me, I've done this job for long enough now, where people take things into their own hands, and in order to get what they want.
So, this police officer has admitted that he has done this job long enough to know what he's doing. Since when is the law that you can use my bin and attempt to unlawfully climb through my window?
It's either if I can't have it, you ain't having it. We end up with a murder on our hands, or it ends up being a kidnap. Do you know what I mean? And I have to, as a police officer, I have a duty of care to everybody. I have to step in, and I have to step in and look at everybody's point of view. So from my point of view here, mate.
This police officer has not mentioned anything about all the men that are killing themselves because of spiteful mums, who use their kids as tools against the man. This police officer doesn't see domestic abuse done by a woman as a crime.
She has seen you face to face on the 2nd of September. Since that date, we've obviously got conversations which she's made me privy to, which are on WhatsApp. You're telling me you've got text messages as well.
No, I don't save anything on my phone at all.
Okay.
At all.
Well, I've never seen any.
So
text
whatever I
messages.
say,
she's
she's
never
going to stand up anyway.
Well, she's never said anything to me either as well about text messages.
She's
so-
not going to say anything that's the way
Either.
around, is she?
No. Well, I know. I can only go on what I've got, can I? And she's provided me this, which is from your WhatsApp account to hers, and that's what I'm going on. All I'd say is, you know, from the 9th of September, which is the day after I've been to her, here, look, she sends you on, I visit her about 9:30 on the 8th, and then she sends you the last message at 22:48 hours on the 8th. On the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, not until the 15th, the 16th.
Yeah, well, these are all to do with my son.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing.
But I understand that,
If-
but she's saying...
If she's got such a concern with me, like, why is she unblocked me and starts putting stuff like this on, right? Out tonight with smiley face. I'm only asking where's my son and who's
Yeah.
looking after my son.
What proceedings have you started with the court? What paperwork have you...
Parental responsibilities and joint custody.
Right, and is a solicitor involved with that?
No, I found it myself.
Right, okay. At what
They're
stage
not
is that out of the
fake. They're
court?
not fake. It's all been processed, it's been paid. I'm just waiting to come back to me.
I'm not saying they are fake, mate. I've seen the documents there
Well,
from the
I think
internet, aren't
someone's just mentioned that apparently They've been looked over and they're fake.
The documents you mentioned.
The documents are off the internet, aren't they? As in, you've done a printout from the court system on the internet.
No, I filled it all in.
Right.
That's the bundle that I've sent the courts.
Right. Okay.
That's the full bundle, and I've sent her a copy because I was told I needed to.
Right. If they sent her, has the HMR, or has the court sent her anything yet?
I don't know. I've not spoken to her about it.
I'm only asking you because
I don't know, but they're not fake, and I'll tell you serious. And this is where that's materialised. That would not have materialised if I didn't send her those papers.
Right. What date did you send the papers on?
I don't know. They were through the WhatsApp.
Right. I think
But I've already told her I was going to do it, and I've offered her the mediation.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Refused it.
I've seen you've offered mediation. I've seen you've offered that. I can't help her civilly. She needs to do what she needs to do. I've already spoken to your solicitor, and in my opinion, and I've spoken to my sergeant, what we want to happen from this is that you don't go and end up getting yourself locked up for harassment, right? And that kid doesn't get mixed up in the midst of all this, alright? And I appreciate that you trying to do what you can to see your son. Is there not anybody within that family that you can speak to amicably?
You said I've been with 3 years, haven't you?
No, a year, isn't it?
No, I haven't been here.
She told me you've been with her a year.
I haven't been with her all right. It was literally a couple of nights.
Right.
Then I tried to work it a couple of months in, probably a month in March, if that. Tried to see if we could get along, and that was it.
So when she says for approximately 10 months or so, that's not the case.
So, on this MG11 statement, this teacher says I was with her for 10 months but I was never around. The teacher later confirmed to Kafkas that it was a relationship lasting several weeks of them meeting. This statement was on the 30th January 2018. On the June 5th, 2019, this teacher started stating that she again was with me around 6 to 7 months, where she states my relationship with him began in November 16th and we separated in May 2017. Then under oath on the non-molestation final hearing back in October 2019, she states that it was actually only a 2-night stand. This was supported by the judge's notes stating the applicant accepted that the relationship was relatively short. The respondent did not believe that she was pregnant and wanted proof.
The most worrying part is the police have a statement right here saying 10 months, and later they got her to complete another MG11 statement stating November 16th to May 17th, which is no more than 7 months. As you can see, she also stated she is a teacher. They took me to court on this statement. And guess what? The dirty pigs lost. That's what they get for believing a teacher from Broxtowe Primary School.
You might think these are just small issues. This is where you are wrong. She's later used this to claim domestic abuse. No one was going to believe domestic abuse on a 2-night stand in 2 weeks in March. But they might believe domestic abuse when she's saying 10 months and then later 7 months.
No, definitely not.
So you've been... How long would you say you've been in
out
that
of
relationship?
I haven't been in a relationship really, not officially. We put a couple of weeks in March, the initial pregnancy that she got pregnant for the first time,
Yeah.
and that's it really.
Okay.
So there's straight away that account there is a false account. Because I lost contact. I weren't interested in that.
Well, she
I was
says
told
that
from
during the
Big Dog.
pregnancy you weren't there for most of it.
Yeah,
Until
so
the
obviously we wasn't in a relationship, was we? Because he was only born on the 15th of 8th, and it was in November that she got pregnant.
It's a very messy situation though, isn't it?
And I understand, but if he's taking a statement, it's not...
I have to take a statement though,
Yeah,
don't
but
I?
it's not
If she
valid,
tells
is
me,
it?
it is valid, because she's giving it... If she's willing to sign up, if she's willing to sign that piece of paper there, mate, and say I'll stand up in court, it's valid.
Yeah, but it's
She-
there's not a
she's then
10-month
contempt of
relationship.
court,
It's
that's
not
up to her,
possible
isn't it?
to be a 10-month relationship out there.
Well, I appreciate now that I don't know that until I speak to you.
Yeah, no, I understand, but
At the time,
how
I've
can
never
you
spoke to you.
justify, how can she sign that to say this is a true reflection when it's not, and that's just the first section that you're showing me.
Well, at the end of the
Which,
day, mate,
as a character
at that time
reference,
she said we've been together for approximately 10 months. We split up in
Never.
approximately April or May, but would say that we split up in March.
a couple of days after April's Fool's, I think it was. And it was only a week before my birthday, so it was 2 weeks max
Right.
in March.
Do you... I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of how long you were together, mate. Do you feel that you have been guilty of sending and a message that would likely to cause somebody anxiety or distress.
I agree with this and I shouldn't have said
Yeah.
that, but she's also sent me text messages of quite
Okay. What sort of
bad
stuff?
as well.
What sort
And
of stuff?
stuff like she finds get someone to run me over and stuff, which I haven't got.
Right.
She screenshot stuff as well to me, which doesn't show on there.
Right. What sort
Unless
of
you've
stuff's
got
that?
it. Where's the screenshot she sent just before we started arguing? Did you get that one?
Oh,
Was that 3 pages long?
no, I haven't got that. Mate.
Yeah, so there you go.
I mean, ultimately, we could
I do
start
understand-
seizing phones and just downloading everything, but we haven't got the time to do it, and it's not
I understand,
benefiting
but you
anyone.
just got everything on that side. She's deleted what she wants to delete.
My advice to you
Parents is
from this interview
removed,
is
and this is going to go against me
well,
when
it's not
when
really
I'm
though,
trying
is
to.
it? It's
Yeah.
not going to go against it, because if you, at the end of the day, have been, I'm going to give you harassment advice, is what I'm going to give you. That's what I told you at the start of this interview. You don't have to accept it, but what I'm going to say to you is that from this day on, I'm going to ask you not to contact her directly or indirectly by any third party other than a solicitor or an official body in order to sort out the child contact or care. Not to phone social on her just to make a malicious call, because that happens.
Well, maybe I've got
Right.
concerns that I've already said to you on
Yeah.
the letter I gave you.
But I've seen that child and I've been in that house.
Have you been to the grandma's
And
house?
I haven't been to
No.
grandma's house.
And
But if you've got
right,
a concern, you can
it's-
phone 101 and we'll go and
Well,
see
it's
grandma.
not. It's not a police matter, is it? It's a
It
child
can be. It can be.
problem.
Mate, at the end of the day, if it's social or police, if we need to get around to make sure everything's in order with that address, we can. I've been to her house and I can say I have no concerns for that child in her hands.
It's
at
like
that
a
house.
14-year-old son, right? He spends most of his time at his grandma's, and his grandma's always on drugs.
Mm.
Yeah, but that's
Then
not a
you need
criminal
to
matter.
report that. You need to report that.
Okay,
Fair
yeah.
enough. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm just asking you and giving you the advice. Don't do it maliciously. What I will say to you is, from today onwards, if she reports any further incidents to us, whereby you've contacted her any other way than through a solicitor properly, then we will have no choice but to pursue you to court for the offence of harassment, and then it can all go to court and be argued out in a court as to whether who's right or who's wrong, and every bit of evidence possible will be presented. We'll seize phones, we'll seize laptops, we'll seize computers, we'll do it all. But right now, having spoke to my sergeant and looked at the incident, this is the best way, in my opinion, of dealing with it appropriately without going through the court system, criminal courts,
Best way for who?
for the whole process to be sorted.
And that's the best way for the mom, of course.
Well,
Um,
you're not going to
Right, so
like
can
what
you-
I'm saying
can
to
you
you. like, at the
can
end
you
of
just
the day.
please tell her to block me off WhatsApp, because
Yeah,
if she's just irritating me then.
I already have.
Well, she hasn't been doing that, has she?
Right.
So when did you ask her to do that?
Would
Because
it
I've got
be-
numerous amount of pictures on my phone that I've screenshotted.
Go on then. Let's have a look.
I can even show you now that she's on it. Keeps adding statuses, winding me up.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
She's on WhatsApp, but
Yeah, well, she could have blocked me. She's not. I'll take that picture. I'll show you. She's. If she's that concerned, why is she
so if, she's
trying to
on,
annoy me?
if you're on WhatsApp, you're on WhatsApp, aren't you?
No, because you can block it. I'll show you, right?
So
Which
if
she's done before. Look, I'll show you down here. She would have no picture, no status, right? If you block her. But she did block me, and she's unblocked
When did
me.
she block you?
I'll get you the date in a sec. There you go, this date here. 20th of the 9th, blocked, right?
20 for the night.
Yeah, so I've got a screenshot here just to prove 20th of the 9th, I'm blocked.
Yeah.
That means there's no pictures, no status, that means she knows me, right?
Yeah. That one then.
Yeah, look. Sorry, let me do that again. That one there, look.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can see, if you're not blocked, you'd have
You
always
see the
have,
picture
you'd have
of
the,
the detail.
no, you always have the writing,
Yeah.
at least. There you go, look, 21st, unblocked. And since then,
21st.
yeah, it's the day after.
Right.
And then you keep going on, she'll keep putting statuses on. And it's like she's egging me on to try and contact her.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do
Which
then.
is,
I will phone her
It's
after
obviously-
this interview and I will tell her to
now
stop.
20 seconds she'll unblock me again. So she's blocked me again for about 20 seconds.
So she blocked you in on 20 seconds. So it's
Yeah.
on and off.
Not for recently, and then 10 minutes later I think she'll block me again. Well, unblock me. But recently she hasn't. So she's putting all these statuses
So
on
she's
me.
unblocked now.
No, she's unblocked. I'm not blocked, no.
Okay.
Not for a long while.
Right.
But she'll keep putting statuses on that winds me up. Oh, she'll put pictures on which I can't see that well, which is a snapshot. Or she'll say my kid's ill, but she won't answer the question to what's wrong with him.
When she told you that kids are...
She's putting it on the status so I can see it.
Oh, on a status.
On the status.
See, mate, you have to excuse me, although I'm young, I don't really use WhatsApp because it just...
Right, okay. So if I was blocked, I won't see it.
Yeah.
And she keeps putting these, I never use them, but she keeps putting stuff like this on there and she'll say something and she does that 20 times a day.
And that's a status.
But that's just like a
Yeah, I get
10-second thing. A status is on here, an official status.
Mm. What's that say?
I've literally got the best. This time, I've literally got the perfect baby ever.
Right. And then you're telling me that said the other day that he was ill or something?
Yes.
So that's then
Which-
making you think what's wrong?
Yes, obviously, which is obviously really concerning me, isn't it?
I understand that.
And she's not willing to
Right.
answer, but she's purposely egging me on.
Will it make you feel better?
Well,
I'm
she
going to
should
do
be
it
blocked.
anyway.
If you're saying I'm harassing her and blah
Yeah.
blah, why is she blocked me? Unblocked me.
And until
It
today, I
sounds
didn't know
like
that.
she's playing a game, right? Because she knows I'm taking her to court, and that is it. And I understand I sent that one stupid text, but I shouldn't be punished this much for that one text.
But until I get you in here, mate, I don't know any of this, do I? Because, like you say, until I get you in here, I've only got her side of the story.
Yeah, but
And now I've got yours, and now you show me that, it puts a bit more to it, doesn't it? But the fact is, what doesn't help, and the bottom line is, we could have got this sorted 8 days ago, or 2 weeks ago, when I first dropped you a message.
I was on
Or
holiday.
whenever. I've left you loads of voicemail.
Yeah, I
Do you
understand.
know what I mean? I could have got you. So, part of this could have all been prevented there and then. Alright, what I'm going to do, now you've shown me that, I'm going to have a chat with her. I'm going to advise her that you've been spoken to today and that she cannot do that because, in essence, if she does that, it's not going to help her case whatsoever.
Well, she has been doing that.
So she has been doing that.
So
So
the
what I'm
last
going to say
month,
to her
right?
is to pack it in. And I think the pair of you need to just stay away from each
No, the
other.
bottom line is I just want to see my son.
Then
so
do
where-
it through a solicitor, mate.
Well, I don't need this for the cause.
Fine. Do it for the solicitor of course. What I'm saying to you is, everything you send to her, make it official, alright? Don't make any reference to her. Don't make anything that she can put against you, alright? Be sensible about how you contact her by way of through the courts.
Yeah, you just
Or
said
through-
I can only contact her
Yeah,
through court.
that's
So
what I'm
that's
saying.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's going to be at least another 2 months till I see my kid, yeah. And that's reasonable.
Fair day, mate.
That's reasonable.
Mate,
Yeah.
I can't get involved with the child contact. I'm a police officer that investigates criminal matters. Alright? I understand that this situation arises, I'd see it day in and day out. But you are going to have to work that out, mate. No, I can't help you with that. You're clearly going down the right road. All I'm asking you to do is stay on the right path so that you don't get in any further trouble.
No, because that's not helping me, is it? That's just
That's
making
it.
things worse.
Mate, I could take the whole thing to CPS and stuff, but we spoke to the sergeant and he doesn't feel that's the best way to deal with it. So that's what I'm saying that we're going to do, alright? I've listened to what you've said, your messages, your dates. I haven't got anything else to put to you or ask you. Is there anything else that you want to add before we terminate this interview? Or anything you want to add?
No.
No? Okay. In that case, at 15:59 hours, I'll conclude the interview. Alright, that's done.
So, there you have the interview. Let's look at the facts.
On the September 9, 2017 at 00:15, PC 3625 Phillips investigated and updated the police database saying, teacher having issues with ex-partner over the name of their 3-week-old son, suspect, me, has sent the IP, teacher, some messages. The messages consisted of threats towards the IP, teacher, with remarks I'll end up killing you one day.
Firstly, we have already established it was one message, not messages. Secondly, it was a reaction to domestic abuse and was not a threat. Thirdly, it stated, you know what? You're such a twat. I'll end up killing you if this carries on. So, I hope you're happy. I will just live my life without my little man. I'll wait till he's 18 and give him all the home truths. Don't fucking text me back.
On the September 17, 2017, PC3625 updated the police database saying, "Threatening messages from me to teacher, who has just had a baby with. This is all over the name of their son, he, me, has taken a dislike to the name as he want to call him. Me has sent some messages. A message that remarks to her ending up dead by me. I, PC3625, am treating this as harassment with fear of violence at the moment. IP, teacher, has been replying to the suspect, me. He, me, has continued to text her after she has told him to stop, September 9, 17 to September 17, 17.
Fourthly, as already mentioned, it was not me that has taken a dislike to his child's name, it is the teacher who has gone behind my back to register his child in a different name to what was agreed. The teacher had left my name of the birth certificate too. Fifthly, remarks to her being dead is not accurate and is a breach of the Data Protection Act 2018.
On the October 5, 2017 at 10:29, PC3625 Phillips updated the police database saying, "Me has sent messages to teacher which are unwanted and have threatened violence towards her, teacher, where he, me, remarks about killing her."
Again, was just one message and has already been explained.
Police later sent the following information to Nottingham City Children's Services, information that states, "Nottingham City Children's Services have had no involvement with the family, but report receipt of a notification of a domestic violence incident in September 2017, whereby I was reportedly sending threatening text messages to teacher." On the January 30, 2018 states from CAFCAS to the judges. An updated report was sent to CAFCAS on January 25, 2018 from Nottinghamshire Police reporting that me had sent a text message to teacher stating, "I will kill you one day."
We reported this to the police in a form of a complaint. The police ignored and it went to IOPC like P1 video. IOPC asked the police to investigate. They have ignored, but guess what? Whilst submitting a pre-legal letter to police regarding the P1 video, aggravated trespass, we got this. On the October 26, 2021 from a trainee solicitor, Amir Yassin. We received in summary, the police are still making allegations that I have done the following. Police were informed that you had sent threatening messages to your ex-partner that caused her distress. One of the messages sent included words such as, "I'll end up killing you one day." Phillips was assigned to this complaint. PC 3625 obtained statements and gathered evidence relating to the allegation of harassment and the threats made. They also confirmed that I was interviewed on harassment with fear of violence. We have confirmed all of the above is lies and do breach the Data Protection Act 2018. These lies have resulted in my son being away from me. They therefore think I'm going to sit here and let these cunts get away with it. No fucking way. We want closure and it will be going legal. It's just a real big piss take that they put a trainee on this case to cover up their bullshit.